Okay,
I
so
love this Nirvana shirt.
I was hoping that you were gonna know.
Oh, Nirvana.
But anyway,
You're
back to my
you're not.
Nirvana shirt. Back to my Nirvana shirt. Um, I was hoping that you would say, "Hey, Nirvana," because that's what you always say whenever I wear my Nirvana t-shirts. You always say, "Hey,
Hey,
Nirvana."
you have more than one.
I do.
Humble
Um,
brag.
do you know the only times that I have ever been like twice in my life, a dude has been like, name three songs? Like, you know that like insulting thing that people do, particularly to women,
Yeah.
where they say like, "Can you even name three songs?" That has only happened to me twice in my life, both times wearing a Nirvana shirt.
Listen, I can't memorize things. So I if you came up to me with a band I liked and said like name three songs, I'm not positive. It would take me some time. That's a hard question anyway. Dudes that do it are kind of, dicks.
It's a rude question.
It's
Also,
I think you see it most when like a woman says like, "Oh, I'm a Twins fan." Like, "Oh yeah, like can you name three players?" Like, "Go fuck yourself."
I know.
Yeah, I get
Should
it.
we, should we get started?
Sure.
Okay, let's get started. Hi, friends. Welcome back. Um, episode two. Episode
So
two
two indeed.
episode two of the Good Couple podcast. Um, we have an exciting lineup today. Today we're talking about labor, division of labor in the house. But we just got done from
Yeah,
a break. Chad, did you get a snack?
I did. I
We just
had
got a
some
snack.
I had some Nilla wafers, some cheese popcorn. Good mixture.
Hot take. I feel like I can never play the hot take game. They try to do it at work sometimes, but it makes me a little uncomfortable because I have found that my hot takes are very intense. But I do have a hot take that I feel like I could share in the workplace setting. And that's that vanilla wafers are trash. You eat them, and I think it's disgusting.
I know. I know you do. And you know what I love most is that I'm thankful that every time in our relationship that I either have or think about or like mention that I like Nilla wafers, you always go through this story. So I'm thankful that you do it even on the podcast, but you would have done this even if we were just at the counter.
I have to say it.
I know you do.
Also, I'm noticing right now that you are very you're saying Nilla wafers. I know that's what they're called. You show me the box. We're not sponsored. This is not sponsored by Nilla wafers. I know, but I call them vanilla wafers. A
Some
wafer?
people, it's not the first time you've been wrong. It certainly won't be the last. I mean,
Vanilla.
you get into it with me. I don't even want to, like, I don't want to hear it because everyone knows it's called orange sherbet until you have to ruin it and point out to everyone that it's orange sherbet. And everyone will argue with you. And then they go pick up their container and then they realize, like, oh, it really is sherbet. But I think everyone universally calls it sherbet. But there's
It
no
was
R.
weird how you said sherbet. Like
Well, that's because it's a
your
made up
emphasis was on a
sherbet.
different
I'm
syllable.
trying to make it really clear that there's no R after the E and before the T.
I know. I know.
So anyway, yeah, they're Nilla wafers, and I
Nilla.
didn't make that up.
That's that
I'm
just
just
sounds.
representing the company for what they planned it as.
It sounds dumb to me. Nilla. Nilla sounds dumb.
Hey, they're probably for children, but I like them,
Okay. Well,
especially if I
anyway,
dip them in Nutella. But I just ran out.
you you had vanilla wafers. Vanilla. See, you had vanilla wafers. I had some chocolate cake. I impulse purchased a cake at Aldi's 2 days ago because I was very close to starting my period, and I saw that cake, and I was like, "This needs to be in my life." It's a great cake. When I cracked it open, I don't know if you noticed this. Have you had any of this cake? It's
No,
been on the
it
counter.
looks disgusting. It looks like one of those
Okay, well,
KFC cakes. They're disgusting.
okay, listen, those
You know those little
chocolate
chocolate
KFC
cakes
cakes,
from yeah.
you know I know those little cakes because those little cakes were like heaven in my childhood. We would get KFC and we would get those little cakes, and then sometimes I would eat the cake for breakfast before school.
Keelan,
Oh,
let's not
oh,
let anyone think that the Yenny household was eating a lot of KFC. Like, you guys were having 74 bean soup and homemade, I don't know. I mean, like homemade Gaelic sauce with I can't even make
oh
it up.
my
It's so
gosh.
ridiculous.
What is
I mean, who
Gaelic?
fucking knows? It was every time I went over there, your dad's like, "Oh, I've been working all day," and he makes the best food. Like, don't get me wrong, but he'd be like, "Oh, we're having 15 bean soup." I'm like, I've never even had 15 beans. Like, I guarantee
Ever in
that
your life, let alone all at
I
once.
have no doubt that I had 15 beans total, and now they're all different beans. Like, I don't even know. How do you know if you got all 15? Anyway,
Okay, what were we talking about?
food. You wanted to talk about your family and all
The
the
cake.
chocolate cake you were
No,
eating.
no,
That's
okay, the
just
cake.
not
So
right.
you had vanilla wafers. I had some chocolate cake. But when I got the cake 2 nights ago from Aldi, I was eating it and I realized that the very inner circle was the best part. And I don't know if you noticed this while it's been sitting on the counter, but I then remembered that I have free will and I ate just the inside ring of the cake because it was the best part. And then slowly throughout the last several days, as I like go and like pick at it, I'm eating.
Literally, it looks like a raccoon's been going at that cake. So I'm glad that you used both of your little paws there, because that's what you've been doing. You've been raccooning that thing.
I used a fork.
You're the one that was like digging with your little fingernails.
I
But
did.
that's what it looks like. It looks like a raccoon's been
Well,
quietly opening it.
I ate that cake with free will because I ate the inside and then I've been eating it around and out.
Is that like are you gonna bring this up in therapy next week? Like, are you proud of yourself? You're
I mean,
like, yeah.
I was a little proud of myself because the thought did cross my mind. What if somebody comes in my family and like bitches about the state of this cake and like, why is the inside all eaten? And then you know what I thought? I don't care.
It's my cake.
It's my cake. I bought this cake. I'm eating this cake the way that I want to eat it. And you all can figure it out.
So you had a whole argument with your family and none of us even wanted your cake.
In my brain, I thought through this. I did.
Did you remember afterwards that we didn't fight with you and nobody judged you for the cake except yourself? Or did you forget and give us credit for bitching anyway?
No, I've actually been really glad that like no one has brought up the cake. I think you all forgot it was there. And so it's just been mine.
Maybe it doesn't look good.
And
it looks like pickles got to it. And yeah, but that's okay. It's your cake. I don't care. It looks like you're enjoying it is what it looks like. That's the nicest thing I can say about that nasty looking thing. So.
Okay, so we just had a snack.
Well, I mean, 2 episodes in a row and you brought up that you're on your period. Like, the cake makes sense, so nobody's saying anything. They're just like, it's better than last month when she was yelling at us. She's just mealing on cakes this time.
Listen, it's okay if you yell sometimes. It's about the repair afterwards. That's a future episode. We'll talk about it.
I'm glad that you've accepted that too. Thank you. Because now you're just like, I can yell at them and then just apologize later.
No, that is not true. Do you think I'm a yeller? I don't think I'm a yeller.
No, you're not a yeller.
I'm not. I am not a yeller. Yelling is very uncomfortable. That's another podcast. We're going to learn so much. Well, we're not going to learn about each other at all, but we're going to share so much.
We might learn about each other. Yeah.
I mean, there's always something new to learn, right?
Absolutely. I learn new stuff about you all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mostly you like it.
Excuse me? Mostly things that I like?
No, the things that you learn, the new things you learn about me, I would say, like, in general, you're, like, happy about them. Sometimes you're like, I don't like this new thing. But
well, like, when the new things that I learn about you are, like, what you drop in the toilet, that's not the new things I want to learn about you.
First of all, if you didn't listen to episode 1, he's not talking about, like, poop.
What? No.
You said the things I drop in the toilet.
I was assuming that the listeners listened to episode 1 and they knew you dropped your Diva cup, but I don't want to talk about it. And I was trying to make a joke where we could like quietly go into it, skirt past it. It was a cute little callback. I didn't mean to make it a friggin', paragraph of the. Let's move on. Okay. I got the list this time.
Anyway, yes, Chad has his agenda.
I
Oh,
thought you. I thought your.
I am.
I thought your agenda would be more professional. This doesn't look like a Keelin. This doesn't look like a Keelin production.
You don't. You don't. You. I can't talk.
Are you okay?
You don't.
I do.
I,
Yeah. You're speaking. I'm sorry.
You do not regularly watch my Facebook stories, and that's okay. We talk a lot. But on my Facebook stories, I recently posted this I thought it was a really funny meme. It was basically saying that, like, when I first became a teacher, I was very well prepared, and then now I'm like flying by the seat of my pants, right? And I guess it's better if you saw the actual thing. I don't think I described.
I sent it to you, and I'm disappointed that you don't remember. I sent it to you. This is what you always yell at me for.
You did?
When I don't remember. You're like, I sent that to you last week. Don't you remember? I'm like, I watched 3 million videos while I was doom scrolling every single night trying to avoid the news.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, I don't remember exactly which one you sent. Anyway, I'm raging. I'm sorry. I'm taking that. That went too far.
All of that to say, when I first started teaching, I am not kidding you, I had a 3-page stapled agenda with talking points and times and like everything completely planned out. And now I walk into class with a scrap piece of paper and some general ideas written down. I feel like that's growth. I think that's how you know, like,
you're getting confident as it.
Well,
it helps that only 10 of your 30 students ever show up for your class. So, I mean,
we're not going to talk about that. That has nothing to do with me.
Yeah. I mean, I would have shown up if I didn't have any faculty that looked like you, but if I had a faculty member and I showed up, I'd show up for class. I don't know what's going on. I just want to say I would have come to your class. I might still come to your class.
I'm such a good teacher. You should come to my class sometime.
It is definitely not the way that your butt looks in those jumpsuits. It's for sure
not appropriate.
Not on the podcast. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Not
hey, episode 2, we found a line. Don't talk about Keelan's booty. Keelan's booty's off limits.
Don't talk about my booty in the context of me teaching.
I'm not really a student. I was role playing this scenario. I'm going back in time 16 years to like college Chad. I mean, I had a crush on at least one teacher that I can think of, and I went to her class, and she was nowhere near as hot as you are.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I would come to your class, but the 16 students that skipped today, they did not think that you were worth coming to class for. So I'm so glad your turnout is great.
Anyway, I do not see work. Okay, I guess I brought up work, but I was just trying to say this is our agenda. This is all you need.
Oh,
and
that was the point. Okay.
Yeah, and you're talking about my butt in jumpsuits, and I'm feeling uncomfortable.
I'm sorry. I won't talk about your jumpsuit butt anymore.
We got snacks, and then we tried to get in the hot tub. Yeah. It's kind of warm out. It's been freezing cold. We haven't been able to get in the hot tub. We tried to get in the hot tub. How was your hot tub experience tonight?
There's some broken latches on the hot tub from when we moved, and I said we moved into the country by accident, and the wind was blowing like 30 or 40 miles an hour today, and it blew the lid open, and so it was only 95 degrees. So I was having a wonderful time, except you wouldn't stop bitching about the situation.
Well, I said that my showers are hotter than this tub right now.
That's true. You try and melt your skin off of... What do you think the temperature is of the water coming out of... It's higher than it should be, but we should check. Because it's awful.
Yeah, I don't have any gauge. I mean, except for, I guess, the hot tub. I don't have any gauge of, like, hot water temperature.
The hot tub is usually at 103.
No, I know, but like...
Do you take showers hotter than that? Or is that like as hot as it gets? Like I think
I take showers hotter than the hot tub.
What's the temperature when we used to have our foster license? What's the temperature that they had to come once a year and check
I
to
don't
make sure that
know.
our hot water didn't get too hot?
I'm gonna Google it.
It was like 87.5. And I remember like my wife, I know you keep it like you would keep it to like the burning point. I would sometimes like scream because I was trying to do the dishes. And it would like burn my hands. And
Listen, it was an
but I
adjustment.
remember they'd come over with a thermometer and I would try and like make it look like I had turned the hot water all the way on. But like I knew if I did, we weren't going to pass.
120 degree. Okay,
Okay.
120 degrees is the rule. So that's what ours had to be at when they would come and test.
So you really do take showers that are a lot hotter than the hot tub.
The hot tub. Right. So
I don't.
I told you that water was like what I used to like cold rinse my hair. One time in a magazine in like 1999, they said that you should rinse your hair with cold water because it seals down the cuticle and keeps it smooth. I don't know if that's true or not, but I have rinsed my hair in cold water every single shower since I read that.
Wow. You think a lot about
A lot.
The temperature of the water for your hair health.
Well, I mean, hot water is horrible for your hair. It's horrible.
Oh.
It's probably not great for your skin either, but I like.
You don't seem to mind when you come out of the shower looking like Babe the pig. I mean, you turn bright pink. It's so hot in there.
It doesn't help that I know you can't see me. I'm holding up my arm.
I can see you.
I'm very pale. I know you can see me. They
still
can't.
Different rooms in the same house.
Who do you think is listening to this? If you had to pick one person in your life that you think is consuming this podcast, who do you think it is?
Well, if I had to guess, the same three people that share my company posts. Shout out to my mom, my grandma, and my dad. Like, they are holding Yellow Umbrella Coaching for Men down. They are the only people sharing my content. So definitely them, and your sister.
Oh, my sister.
Your sister will listen for sure.
Shout out to my sister.
Alonia.
Shout out.
Hello.
It was, yeah.
Would you like a beverage?
No one else is going to understand that. Chad
it's not
makes
my problem.
Fun
it's a shout out.
Chad makes fun of how my sister says the word beverage.
Beverage. She says it weird. I don't just make fun of it. Like, she says it strange. That's okay. She's great. All right. Enough about your sister.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
Oh, by the way, though, since we're like wide open on this, right? We're talking about periods every time. I'm going to bring up this new passport picture that you got.
I thought it was a really nice picture.
It is, but you're not allowed to smile. And I mean, for you in a picture to not be smiling, I think like
I smile a lot, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And in this picture, you're like,
I'm like this. Wait, let me try to recreate it. Again, if you're just listening, sorry. But
bad podcast.
Is this, okay, you can tell them what I'm doing. Explain to them.
She is touching her hair a lot, and she's looking seductively at the camera.
It's not seductive, it's stony. I'm trying to look.
I like it.
Stoned, not like stony, but like stony, like not.
Maybe a little.
No.
All right.
I'm trying to look like serious.
Anyway, it's funny because a lot of times Alonia does not smile in her photos. And when I opened that, I was like, oh my God, like this is a picture of Ellie in his passport. Like, it's kind of wild sometimes when that happens.
Okay.
There's some moments where you have like, what, huh?
Once you pointed it out. Yeah.
Anyway.
You think I have some mannerisms like my sister sometimes. Sometimes when I smirk at you.
The smirk, the way in which you, like the way in which you both are able to shut down someone interrupting you, which I'm an interrupter, right? Like, so and I always am kind of like, oh, that's fair. Like, I should shut up and let her finish the story. But the way that you do it, the way you anticipate and you hold that finger up. Yeah, I'm talking, I'm speaking.
The raised eyebrows is a very important. Not only do you have to confidently put your finger up, like, oh, no.
You have to tilt your head.
you have to tilt your head a little bit and you have to raise your eyebrows like, excuse fucking me, I'm still talking.
Well, I am a man, and I need to interrupt you to say what you already said and make it seem like it was my idea, right? So I have to interrupt you in order for that job. I try really hard not to mansplain. I think about it a lot. I hate that it's called mansplaining because I think you do it to me plenty of times, but it must get annoying being interrupted all the time. So I appreciate actually that you have a way of handling it and kind of call it out. And it reminds me like, okay, I should probably shut up and just let her talk anyway.
I would say as a fairly indirect person, speaking about myself.
You're indirect to other people. You're very direct at home.
Oh. I think that's a compliment.
Oh, good.
But anyway, I was going to say, I think when I put my finger up to people, I think that is like one of the times that I'm the most direct. Like, excuse me. Because if there's one thing I'm going to do, it's finish my thought.
Sometimes I go to interrupt because I'm afraid if I don't, I'm going to forget what I was going to say. I mean, the ADHD component is real. And if I don't spit, like sometimes I just need to pause so you can put like, sometimes I'll say like bookmark, like, can you bookmark this so I don't forget? And then I don't know if you ever don't forget or if you do remember or whatever, but I'm not sure because I forgot.
You don't remember. Well, I was just going to ask you, do you think that I'm a good bookmarker for you? This could be another whole podcast episode. So
do I think you're a good bookmarker?
Yeah. When you say like, you'll tell me, like you will literally give me the cue. You will say like, make sure we come back to this. Make sure I tell you this story. And then you'll keep going on whatever you were. But do you, I guess I'm asking for some validation.
You want some affirmation? Like, I don't, I think I just said
that if I'm not good at it.
I think you're respectful when I bring it up. Like I just said, though, I don't know if we come back to it or not.
Oh.
Like, I think we often do, but like, I literally don't know. You could be terrible at it, and I just don't remember that we bookmark stuff. Like, I need your confidence. You're making me second guess your ability to bookmark for me. But your stories take wild turns, and I need to know the end. So, like, I think we're talking about something, and it's on its way to one thing, and then you take 7 twists and turns. Sometimes, so I'll just stop you, and I'll say, like, where are we heading? You're like, oh, the end is going to be this. I'm like, okay, so now I know where we're working towards. I appreciate that you do that for me.
Yeah.
But
I try. I like to provide context.
Are you second guessing yourself but blaming me for, it seems like.
No, I just kind of stopped listening for a second, and then it took my brain a minute to fast forward. And
thank you.
Yeah. But no, I really try.
Good. That's
okay.
Great.
So we had a mediocre hot tub experience. We need a new hot tub lid. Is this right? Is this what you're telling me?
I think so.
Lid because the thing's broke. Maybe this could be the first opportunity for a podcast sponsor. Like
for like, what do you mean?
A hot tub company could give us.
That doesn't sound. That sounds more like a swinger podcast. And I don't think that's what this is. But if this is your way of telling me, like, I'm into it. Like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, hey, I'm just here. It could be a thing. I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Because I said we should be sponsored by a hot tub company?
I don't know. Isn't that like
our couples?
It seems, I don't know. If you heard like, oh, they have a couples podcast and the only sponsor that they have is a hot tub lid company, I'd be like, what are they talking about on the podcast? And then they tune in and they're like, oh, we're just dropping stuff, and we're learning about the sizes of tampons
and parenting and relationships, and
we have not even gotten close to parenting.
And that's okay. We're only in episode 2, Chad.
I know.
Only in episode 2.
I have the agenda. Parenting is not on the list.
We did. Speaking of the podcast, right? Which we're on currently.
Yes. 25 minutes, haven't even gotten to our first point yet.
It
sounds like a normal Chad and Keelin conversation.
No. But the good couple, right? So the podcast is the Good Couple Podcast. And first of all, I love the design that you made. Like the like marketing is, I love it. Um,
Yeah, I can. You want to see it? Do you remember what it was?
yeah, I remember what it was. It was a good couple, and it had like the diamond.
Yeah. Let's see if I can share this here.
I have a really good memory. Sometimes I think that I have a better memory than some people sometimes, because I'll have a conversation with someone, like somebody new that I'm meeting or whatever, and I'll learn a lot about them, and then maybe I see them like 2 months later or something, and then they're like telling me everything again, and I'm like, I we've had this conversation. Like, you've told me all this stuff. Like, I already know where you work. I already know like where you went to vacation last week. Like, whatever they shared with me, I always remember, and then they act like it's the first time we're talking about it.
I'll be honest. Like, I talk to hundreds of people a week about hundreds of topics, and I've been given more presentations, which is really cool at work. But then, like, I thought I was meeting this person for the first time, and then she was cool about it. But then later I realized, like, no, she and I worked on a project together. So now I'm like, oh, shoot.
That's awkward.
Yeah, so
We
I get
worked
it.
on a
But
project
so,
together.
well, sort of, yeah.
But then I feel self-conscious because I'm like, am I supposed to pretend like I
Yeah.
don't remember all of these really specific details? Because I do. And it's not because I'm a creep. It's just because you told me. And so I remember.
Yeah,
Unless
it's
sometimes
not just like you have the desire to remember and I don't have the desire to remember.
oh no.
Maybe if you didn't remember all of those details, you wouldn't be so stressed out all the time. Maybe if you didn't like load your brain with everything and then at the end of the day you're like, why is my head ready to burst? Like, because you remember every detail of a conversation that did not matter. It just didn't matter. And the person doesn't even remember telling you. I don't remember what I told people. I don't know who knows what. That's why you like got to be really careful with lying. I don't know.
I'm really good at remembering. It makes me feel like sometimes I'm a creep, like I said. Like, it makes me feel self-conscious. I'm like, oh, am I remembering too much about people? Like, nobody remembers conversations with me. Maybe that's the bigger vulnerability. Maybe I'm worried nobody remembers conversations with me.
Oh my. I yeah. I think we're discovering
Maybe I worry.
how deep your anxiety rolls.
Maybe I worry that I'm not memorable.
I worry about weird things too, though, for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it actually has anything to do with you whatsoever. Like think about the number of things that are on your brain day in and day out. Like,
True.
Keelan, you know I'm a kind person, that I like people, right? I don't remember anything. Does that make me like not kind because like I forget everything?
No.
Right.
No, and I guess it's also, I mean, I can also see the angle of it's kind of self-centered for me to be like,
well,
well,
you
you
are
should remember.
the center of your world.
It's true.
We all are. But yeah, most people don't think about.
Yeah.
I just don't think
Ain't nobody
anybody's
thinking about me as much as I'm thinking about me.
They're
We
like,
all
oh
know.
yeah, I told Keelan this and this. I should follow up and tell her more about the story. Like, they're like, well, I must not have told her because she didn't even stop me. Like, she doesn't even remember I've told her this story 6 times. That's what you should be self-conscious about. If we're
They're
gonna
like,
poke anxiety, they're like, why do I keep telling this bitch the same story?
they're like, this woman has a
She doesn't ever
memory.
remember.
Oh no.
Like,
No.
Keelan's kind of stupid.
Oh, now you're gonna
There.
give me something else to
Opposite anxiety. Go the other way.
something else to worry
My
about.
story is just as true as yours, and both are made up. So
Oh
just
my
remember
gosh.
that. Just let go of the anxiety. No one cares. You know what's something really weird that I get self-conscious about?
What?
All right. Let's say like you go into a public restroom, right? And for women, you all like go into a stall. But for dudes, you know, you're usually in the right situation at a urinal. Don't even get me started on these nasty troughs. I do not wish to pee in a trough. Do you know what a trough is, Keelan?
I do. It's
Yeah.
just where it's like the bucket, right? Like the long.
100%. 100%. And for some reason, you know, I love being a sports fan of both the Cubs and the Packers. But for some reason, these old legendary stadiums seem to like usually come with troughs. And I just don't wish to pee in what looks like a bathtub. And I don't like to watch anyway, it all mixes together. It just makes me sick. So anyway, but let's say, here's what I get self-conscious about. It is gross. It's gross.
What? Why?
I have no idea. And I don't know.
Well, you don't know what I'm going to
There's
ask.
a lot of self-conscious. Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to say like, why do you have troughs?
Well, I'm going to ask, why do you have to pee in public, in your restroom? Public meaning like, even with urinals, there's not usually like dividers, are there?
I mean, I think it's probably, no, not always.
Right.
No, I mean, no. I can't tell you a percentage, but
there's a door and like, in the United States, it doesn't go floor to ceiling, right? So you could like reach under, like look up above. But like,
can we get that fixed?
Okay, but here's the thing. I like that because if I ever were to get stuck in the bathroom, I could climb under the bottom. When we were in Europe and the bathrooms go floor to ceiling, like little sarcophagus rooms, the coffin rooms.
Sarcophagus?
What if you
Did
got...
you say sarcophagus? Sarcophagus? What's that?
It's
What's
what
that mean?
Mummies live in.
Sarcophagus is what mummies live in?
Yeah. A
Okay.
sarcophagus.
Keelan, we didn't all grow up with Ed Yenny as a father, right? Like,
Okay,
I don't know a lot about mummies and sarcophagus.
Okay, but...
I definitely wasn't paying attention in social studies when we talked about mummies.
Sure. Okay, but a sarcophagus, that's not like... That is not an unknown thing. People know what
Add it to the list.
Is.
Most people know what a sarcophagus is.
I think so.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Okay, well then, this is tremendously embarrassing for me then, but I don't know that most people know that. We'll see. We'll ask our 4 listeners, our mom, my dad, grandma, and we'll ask Ellie, and we'll see if they know what a sarcophagus is.
I think we have 5 listeners, though, because I didn't get to say who I think would listen. I think Eric is going to listen.
Sure.
Shout out, Eric. I think Eric's going to listen. So that's 5 listeners. Look at us.
Look at us.
Anyway, sarcophagus, I think, is a commonly known thing. The people know what a sarcophagus is.
And that's what these bathrooms were like.
Yes. And I'm afraid, what if I get stuck in one? I can't get out. I can't climb underneath. Also, what do you do if there's no toilet paper? You can't, like, do a friendly pass. Do you have
a lot of people passing toilet paper to each other in the women's restroom? I've never passed toilet paper to a dude in the men's restroom. Never.
And you've never heard it happening either?
No.
I would say maybe 5 times in my life, someone has either some passing of toilet paper or a feminine product.
The feminine product makes complete sense. I've never seen that in my restroom either. But
I had no idea we were going to talk about.
But I didn't even get to tell you the part that's the weird anxiety part because you took a detour at the trough.
I hijacked your story.
So here's a funny thing. So I start going, right? And I'm a little nervous that like, do I go long enough? Like, is somebody going to think like, why did this dude, why, but like, is it too little? Like, why did this dude only come in for a few dribbles of pee when he could have or like, is it too long? And so I'm constantly trying to think about like, do I pee too long? Like and then like when I do.
How long you're peeing?
A little bit, yeah.
Me too.
In public. I don't think that's normal. I don't think that people should have anxiety about these things, but do you think it's just normal? So I'm like kind of timing myself, and I'm always thankful when like there's an old guy going and then like I start going and I go for like what I feel like is a normal amount of time and then he's still going and I'm like, yeah, I'm still young. I still got it.
Okay. So
not 40 yet, baby.
You're self-conscious of the length of time that you are peeing. You don't want it to be too short. You don't want it to be too long.
Yeah, you tried to make it about penis size a couple times. That's not what I was talking about.
You're right. You saw my face.
Yeah, you were like, no, you tried to take it. Anyway, that's what I was saying. So what I was trying to do.
I have something to say.
Okay.
I have something to say.
Go for it. I'm sorry.
You are self-conscious about the length of time that you're peeing relative to other people in the bathroom. I get self-conscious about the flow. And is my pee stream coming out at a rate and hitting the toilet where the person next to me would be like, she had to go. Like that
Got
is
a
like,
garden hose next to me. She comes out of the out of the room, and she's like, "There's a lady with a garden hose in there."
yes,
Why, do you feel like it's really strong? Do you feel like you have a really strong stream?
I mean, sometimes if I really have to go, yeah.
That's
But
great,
I'm
I
just
think.
like, I'm just self-conscious because I have heard people peeing in the bathroom and I've been like, wow.
Oh, you're the one that we're all worried about. Like that.
Well, I mean,
See, there's a guy over at the end with a stopwatch, and he's like, "Huh, you're a little under. You should have been going for at least another 10 seconds. Is something wrong with you?" Like, no. Anyway, all right. None of this was on the agenda, and I'm sorry that we started talking. Like, this is gross. This is a gross podcast. And we mentioned a couple things in there that I think I have to mark that it's no longer appropriate for kids. And
the explicit.
I don't think that's explicit, but I also don't think you can. You probably have to limit it, so you have to be 18 now. I mean, I said penis, and we talked about your powerful stream. I don't know.
Marble stream.
I don't know.
Well,
you gotta warn people.
What I'm trying to get us to talk about is the name of this podcast is The Good Couple.
Yes.
I don't know how we devolved into pee troughs. But The Good Couple podcast, we picked this name. Do you remember why? It was a while ago. Do you remember what like the rationale was? I do, because I have a good memory.
Oh my God, of course you do. Tell me. I don't remember exactly why.
Remember. Okay.
I remember me creating it and having a really hard time creating this logo.
Yes. Okay, well, I'll fill you in on what our thought process was around the name originally, and then you can tell me if you think it's changed. So the reason why I really liked The Good Couple, right, is because when I think of our relationship, right, I think this sounds kind of dorky, but like I just think like, yeah, we're really good. Oh yeah, there's the logo. Oh, the one with the diamond on it was like an old iteration, right? I remember this. I like it.
Yeah, I think we were struggling at that point because we were also thinking about making this like a business because I really want a successful business. I really want to have a lot of money. I want to help people, but I also want to have a lot of money. I want to have a pool. I want to have a pool early enough where you're still hot enough to sit by the pool and I can...
Well, and we said we moved. Okay, can you take that thing away now? Like,
sure. I want to... Okay, sorry. The listeners didn't.
Our backyard.
Grandma wanted to see it. Okay, yes.
Our backyard is so hot in the summer, and there's no trees anywhere, and the sun beats down like we're in Palm Springs, California, which, shout out Palm Springs, is one of my favorite places in the country. I love Palm Springs. But our backyard is like begging for a pool. It just is.
Perfect. It's perfect for it, but
it's perfect for a pool.
You know what's not perfect for the pool?
Price of a pool.
My savings account.
Also that, both of those things.
Our salaries. Yeah. But when that hot tub sponsorship comes in, that's when we'll get it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. New lid.
Shout out.
No, but okay, The Good Couple, right? Like when I think of our relationship, like we're good. I mean that in the sense of like we are solid, right? We're not perfect. We're not like, I hope we're not like holier than thou or, whatever. But like,
I mean, I think some people definitely think we're snobs.
Oh, sure.
We definitely get called like behind our back, not to our faces yet, but like there's definitely folks that think we're snobby.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I think what's important for me when we came up with The Good Couple is one, I'm trying to be clever, right? Like you're trying to find something catchy. It's hard to do. But then on top of that, I didn't want people to say like, I don't think we're better than others. I don't think that.
I remember, so we had the conversation throughout our time together. Many people have said like, oh, couple goals, right? And so like, I know on our like brainstorming list, like couple goals was on there and neither one of us like felt comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Couple goals.
I mean, I can see why like, it's not like I know you try and do a pretty good job of being very real, and especially in recent years of like being really real on social media, and like you'll get into like things where you'll post bad stuff that's going on. I don't like I it's not that I want people to think my life's perfect by any means, because it's not. Like, being a dad is hard, being, doing suburbia stuff is hard, but like I I lost my train of thought. One sec. What was I saying?
You were talking about you were
You
talking.
weren't listening. You son of a bitch. She's like, shit, I don't know. We'll have to pause it and replay it. I don't know. She's like, I was thinking about how I could get you to stop talking so I could talk again. Anyway, I just think it's important to acknowledge that like we're not somehow better than folks, but I do think that there's things that we've been through, and there's things that we've worked through, and there's ways that our relationship has matured. And I certainly don't feel like we started our relationship as relationship goals. And also, that's where I was going. Like, I can see why someone would think relationship goals by looking at Facebook and Instagram, right? But like, I mean, even if you're posting like real posts, like let's say once a week, you're posting, like, that doesn't demonstrate like the stressed out, like zombie that you might have been for the last 3 days. And I'm not just saying you, like, like, this isn't easy. None of this is easy. And to get to this place, I mean, each of us had to do our own work. And I think that is something that a lot of couples maybe don't stop to do, is like, you think things are going wrong in a relationship and you want to blame, and I felt this way, like, you want to blame it on like, we're just not good together. And then like what I realized, and it didn't happen overnight, but like I needed to work on me. And like you and I could never be good until I fixed me, right? And I have been in therapy like 7 or 8 years now, so that's great. I'm really proud of that. But like, I'm terrified of what would have happened had I not gone through that. So I think relationship goals is easy to say, but like, I feel like, at least for myself, I will say I put in work to improve myself and to understand myself and to be able to process my own emotions and take that burden off of you, which I placed heavily on you for the first several years of our marriage. I don't even want to think about how long, but like, I don't know. I think it's important, but it's important to me that we don't come across as somebody who has it all figured out. I am literally just like, I mean, sometimes it feels like I'm just a young guy. Like, what? And then I realize, like, oh, you're not a young guy. Like, even the bots on Twitter that hit on me are like, oh, I'm into older men. I'm like, come fuck, like, what? The little Twitter bots.
It reminds me of that little meme that's like, I'm just a baby. I'm a baby. Have you seen that one?
Yes, I have. Of course I have.
Just a baby.
But like, but then I realized, like, no, we've been married close to 15 years. And I think that sometimes I see younger couples, or I even see my peers who haven't done some of that work. And I think if I can normalize putting out there that, like, hey, people do spend time on this, people do put work into this, it doesn't just come naturally. If it's not working in your marriage or, whatever your relationship is, I don't know. I want to show people that, like, you can do it and you can approach it from a lot of, you know what I mean? Like, it's not about the fact that, like, I've achieved this and I'm the almighty husband and I will tell husbands how to be husband. Like, it's not that. But so I think that's what I was worried about with the good couple. But I do think it's catchy. And as long as we keep making sure that we don't come across too snobby, sorry to those listeners that think that. But yeah, I think it's just, I think that's a good place to be. And I made that logo because, like, I remember being hyper fixated that weekend. And for some, like, I wanted to start a business, man. Like, I was in a tough spot at that point in my career. And I wanted to start a business anyway. I just finished my MBA, Yellow Umbrella. It hasn't taken off yet. Like, I think it's building. I think it takes time. Like, we know that, but I want to keep trying things. I want to own a business. And so I was hyper fixated on it. We took all those notes. We laid out a full business plan. I made a logo. And then here we are a year and a half later, and it's happening.
Yeah, and
So
I just wanted to talk.
yeah,
And again, I know like we talked for like a year and a half, probably more, honestly, because we will just like sit on the couch and talk to each other for like hours. We've always been like this. Talk to each other for hours and hours and hours. And we have always said like we should
just record this.
record this, or like you should be recording this. And so you know what? Now we're recording this, and like we'll have our 5 listeners, and like
I think it might be more than that, but
we'll have this. You know what I mean? Like this is morbid, but I was thinking about this on my walk the other day. I was
oh
like,
my God, no.
if
Don't say what I think you're going to say. If what?
if one of us like dies,
Oh
like
my God.
we'll have our podcast.
What?
Like,
I'm not going to watch the podcast if you die.
oh, if you
Don't-
die, I'll watch this.
Oh my God.
Not right away,
Well,
but I will.
wow. Okay. No,
Stop.
that's good. I shouldn't have freaked out about death. I know, sorry, Alonia. Death doula Alonia is probably crawling in her skin, but I think for me, I've had to think about myself dying a bit, right? And I know you've also had to think a lot about me dying, so it makes sense. I've had my share of close calls with some heart stuff, and we don't have to get that's probably a whole series of the podcast all by itself, the medical issues and the close calls with potential death and the open heart surgery, and so there's a whole bunch of stuff, right? So it makes sense that you would go there, but like no, like this, it's okay. So we're creating like a memory vault. Like, are you planning on me dying? And so you're like, we got to start this now.
I mean, you know, we
Like-
have a pact. We can't kill each other, so I'm not.
I think
not
that's smart.
agreeing.
And you know what? Let's take this opportunity that if you don't have a pact with your partner that you will not murder each other, I think it's important to have that conversation, like promise each other.
It is.
This-
Make that promise. Make
I
that
mean,
promise. It
make
doesn't.
it.
It supersedes our wedding vows and everything. Like we will
That's
not kill each other.
important.
Although I would like to take this moment to
Oh.
publicly put in our memory vault here with our 5 listeners
Adds death tribute here. Yeah.
that the last time we were watching a scary show, like not scary, but like, well, I mean, it's scary because it's real life, like serial killer, guy
Yeah,
killed his wife kind
yeah.
of show. You leaned over and you whispered in my ear. I told everyone that we have a pact that we won't kill each other so that they won't suspect me. That's what you leaned over in our
I don't
marriage
recall that.
bed and
Our
whispered.
marriage bed. Oh, Eric, I can't believe you just called it a marriage bed. That's so uncomfortable that Eric calls it a marriage bed, but it is funny. It is funny. I don't remember saying that.
You did. And I looked at you and I go,
I would
no,
never. I would never say that.
that you leaned over and you whispered it like a sweet, creepy nothing in my ear. Yeah,
I
you
don't
did.
recall that. I don't recall that. Sorry, ma'am. I would never kill you.
Well, thank you.
Especially, I would never admit to anything like that on a recorded. You started this
heard me here
podcast just to
first.
get
I
that.
go missing. Investigate this man who may or may not have killed
You
me.
can't say that. We just watched like that one where the woman, she kidnapped herself. I mean, you can't say that. Like, geez, don't do that.
I have no plans to kidnap myself.
If you kidnapped yourself and wanted to pin it on me, you would have no problem.
You see?
I mean, you could pin it on me, no problem. Yeah.
Remember that time after our house got broken into that we put cameras up and you told me, oh, like your boyfriend won't be able to come over now because like I'll see him in the driveway. And like without missing a beat, I was like, well, I'll just hide him in the trunk and then drive the car into the garage and shut the door. And you looked at me like you tilted your head to the side like
You had thought
very
about that.
quickly.
Yeah. You had thought about that.
I hadn't. I'm just quick on my feet.
You had a small trunk at that point, so if you want to bring a little guy home, that's fine. You fit a little guy in your trunk, you bring him home. That's fine.
I did.
But okay.
Okay. All right. We're talking about labor today, Chad. 50 minutes in.
We didn't even have. Okay.
We're talking about division of
Like-
labor.
Oh, that kind of labor.
Not like baby labor. No.
Okay. Oh, so like that's a weird topic for us. We have kids, but we don't have babies.
No.
We never
No.
had babies.
Labor in our relationship, in our family unit. Like,
The distribution of housework.
how do we handle it?
Which of the women's chores does Chad do?
Yes. Which of the women's work do you take off of
Well,
my
fellas, to help my wife, I take half of her work so that she doesn't always have to do it. I'll do the dishes. Nope. I don't believe that. I'm just kidding. But it is funny to say. No, I think we do a pretty good job of splitting up the work. I am in charge of the floors in the house, which we live in a much bigger house now. And so I think it might be a little unfair with the number of square feet that I have to cover with excuse me, respectful language, please.
This is already a not safe for children episode, so
we listen and we don't judge.
I'm thankful that you do the floors. I appreciate that. I don't like doing floors.
I think I need a break. I think I need
On
to
the
switch.
floor?
But then I don't always. I think I think we pick up for each other a little bit at different times. I try, if you cook dinner, which you usually do, then I try and make sure the kitchen's clean or the dishes are done that night. And like, I don't know, Katy Perry did an interview where she promised a lot if her husband would just do the dishes. So,
True.
That was what really propelled me into like,
Is that
just
when
make
you
sure that
bought the drying rack for the dishes? Is that when you went
Katy Perry did not sell me a drying rack. No, but like I don't particularly like the dishwasher. Like it just feels sometimes like it was just easy. I think like you save a lot of water by using the dishwasher. Like I get that, but it's just like I'd rather just scrub the thing, make sure it's clean. So because then the dishwasher doesn't always clean everything.
Did you grow up in dishwasher households?
Hell no.
Yeah, we didn't.
No.
I mean,
and if
we had,
I think
like it was broken or.
I think I had one and it was broken, and so we maybe used it as a drying rack. Like I would put my wet dishes in the dishwasher. We maybe had a dishwasher a couple times, but I did the dishes a lot as a kid, and I just prefer to like, you put some dish soap on the sponge and you scrub away and set them. Anyway, so yeah, I think, but like I've never cleaned the bathroom.
Yeah.
So
any bathroom.
Hold on. My first job was cleaning a country club and the bathrooms.
You have cleaned some disgusting bathrooms, but I'm just saying.
I worked at the park district and cleaned feces out of a urinal once. Like, so don't even get me started that I've never cleaned a bathroom. Like, I've scrubbed more toilets than you have.
I do think it was funny though. It was at our old house that we had this realization. But like, how did you come to the realization that you're like, oh, wait a minute, I have never cleaned this space ever? Like, how did that dawn on you?
It was really dirty one day. Like you weren't keeping up. And I was like, what is happening? Like, where is she? And I was like, wait, I used to clean bathrooms. Like, why have I never cleaned the bathroom? I don't know. The bathroom just gets cleaned. Like, it just gets cleaned.
I don't mind. I actually like cleaning bathrooms. I like cleaning toilets.
Really?
I like cleaning toilets.
You could do it more. If you really love it, I would
toilets, on our toilets in this house, our current cleaning schedule, every toilet gets cleaned once a week. Once a week. Each toilet gets scrubbed. You are shaking your head. You are completely wrong. Every toilet in this house gets scrubbed once a week.
Okay.
I can promise you.
Okay. We should maybe do it twice. I'll do it. I'll help do it a second time. How about that?
Okay. So I scrub the
Wait.
toilets. You mop the floors.
Uh-huh.
I think
That's basically it.
we that's all we
I
do.
that's
You
basically.
do most of the, if we want to talk about like stereotypical roles, you do the majority of the outside stuff. Although last year I helped you, I mowed like 3 times last year. And
Like the whole yard?
yeah.
Really? The backyard too?
Uh-huh.
3 times.
Uh-huh.
You know, I
Uh,
used a lot of fertilizer last year. Sorry, world. Sorry, Earth. But
the
my
grass is
my
great.
grass was looking good, and it was growing like, well, like weeds.
Right. But what I'm saying is you usually do
I
the
just want to
outside
point out how good my yard. Can you acknowledge on record that my yard was looking good
in
last year?
your, yes,
Okay,
your yard
perfect.
looked
Was
great.
looking good. It was looking good. I bought I bought that striper, the ballpark striper.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, we can move on now that we've.
What were we talking?
Like you take medical stuff with the kids. I take all school stuff.
Yes. Okay. And that is such an important split because both of those things take up so much time and energy in our specific instances that, like, if I had to be responsible for both of those things, I would be so resentful and pissed at you. Like,
I
if
know.
you
That's
were
why
just
I
like,
took school.
you were just like, if you were just like, I have no idea what's going on in either of these realms, like, I would be so fucking pissed. Like,
All right,
why the
18
fuck is
plus
it
it
my
is.
job? Why is it
Oh
my
my God.
job? I don't want to remember this stuff either. Like, what? So I'm
Some
glad.
dudes are like that though. Most. You think it's like I
Yeah,
think millennial dads are doing better, right? Isn't that what
they are.
millennial dads are doing better
They
than
are. But
okay.
I'm in like a lot of mom groups on Facebook, and the things that these people say about their partners, like,
I'm thankful for those mom groups.
it makes me sad. I ranted on this. I ranted on this in a Snapchat story semi recently. Again, you don't watch my Snapchat stories either. But I ranted in
I'm
this.
really busy.
I ranted
You
on
talk
this.
a long time. I mean, I I love you. I
I
sometimes watch your videos, but the sound off.
and just like see me gesticulating, like
You're
flailing
cute.
my
You're really
hands in it.
cute.
You just watch my face be cute.
No, sometimes I just wanted to say that I watched them, and I just don't want to listen to you talk. Like, I love you, but like, okay, listen, like I don't even know. Like, my Starbucks order was wrong. Like, that's okay. I'm gonna persevere through it. I don't know. Like, whatever your little hardship of the morning is. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm really busy. I love you though. You're gonna tell me again later anyway, right? Because you know I don't watch
Yeah,
them.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you.
See?
But what was I ranting about on Snapchat?
You were ranting about medical and school split. Husbands that
Oh,
don't.
yes, husbands that like don't. So I ranted about this on Snapchat. I like literally in my body, it produces rage when that face, that like surprise face you're making, it's real.
I'm
The,
scared.
the rage that I feel when women are like, someone will say, "Oh, you have 3 kids," and she's like, "Oh, no, I have 4 or whatever." Like, my husband
My
is,
3 kids and my husband or something.
yeah, or like, I
Yeah.
hate that. And I know it's a joke. I know it's a joke.
It's a joke. Yeah, it
It's
is.
a
It's
joke.
funny. It's a funny joke, but
I
you get
hate.
mad about you like having strong opinions, so you get mad. But it's
Yeah.
not really that big of a deal. But I do understand what you're saying. Like, I think that the same way that I sometimes say like, "Oh, Keelin yells a lot" or whatever, like, and you don't. Like, I think it's part of the like, it's just part of the funny role. But like, there are ways in which that does harm. Like, I think
I
that's
just think
important
it's
to
so
acknowledge. But
infantil. Like, I think it's just so infantilizing to men. One, like, and it is like, if you're husband is acting like that, like, also, yes, infantilization, but also like learned helplessness, right? That a guy can just be like, oh, I don't have to know these things in relation to like important things about my kids. Like, I don't need to know their shoe size. I don't need to know their t-shirt size or the name of their teacher or the name of their pediatrician, right? Like, because guys are just like, oh, my wife knows that. Okay, why is it her fucking job to know all that shit? And she has to, because if you don't, who else is going to take care of it, right? Like, so
It's a lot.
when I think about like people, like women get upset over like the invisible load, right? Like all of the work and the things that they have to keep in their brain because their partners don't, it makes me furious. Like,
Yeah.
so furious for them that they have partners that like think that little of their wives and themselves, right? Like, know about your kids. Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. I agree. Which is why I take it
Which
on
is why you do it.
the schools. And so I'm thankful I don't have to do medical, to be very honest with you. I'd rather talk to the assistant principal 4 times a week, which luckily some
You
weeks I
sometimes
do. I
yeah.
sometimes get to do. I'm luckily I work from home and I live a quarter mile from the kids' school. So in the summer when they get in trouble and I've got to go over there, I just buzz over on my scooter. Winter's a little harder because you got to make the decision like, do I want to walk through the cold or take the truck or what? But
What are you
anyway,
doing there?
I had the space heater on. My legs were getting a little cold and
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
sorry, space heater.
Other division of labor stuff. I mean, there are definitely things that you do that I don't even know you do,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah, yeah.
changing filters and stuff. Like,
I change filters. Yeah,
you do
it's
that.
one of the things. I changed the filters.
The hot tub maintenance.
Hot tub maintenance. The
Bringing
yard.
it back around the hot tub.
There's plenty of yard work, stuff that like you would say like let's say like people are coming over for a party in July, right? And like you're like, oh my God, we have so much to do, and I go outside and mow, and you're like, why aren't you doing like? I'm glad that you're doing something, but you're not doing the right things. I remember this argument one time, like like this isn't a priority. I'm like, it is to me. Like my yard needs to look good. There's people coming over to see our house. The yard's got to look great. And you're like, well, I just wanted you to do this. I'm like, well, when do you want me to do the other thing? So no, there's totally things, but I would never want you to take away mowing from me because like I put headphones on. You want to know why I like mowing and vacuuming? I put headphones on, and when you're running a vacuum around the house, nobody comes near you. Dogs don't want anything to do with you. They're scared. The kids are afraid I make them pick stuff up around like, oh yeah, pick that up in front of my vacuum. And so they're like nowhere to be found. You don't want to come near the loud vacuum. So I'll vacuum for a long time.
So vacuuming is your me time.
Maybe.
It's your me
It's
time.
my time where you guys just leave me the hell alone finally. I don't know if there's that me time.
Yeah. Is there a chore that you hate?
I mean, I don't like the mopping part. Mopping pisses me off. Because, like, you have such specific rules about how the floor can and cannot be cleaned, which is wild for somebody who doesn't do shit with the floors, right? No, you can't use a power mop because that does this. No, steam is bad for this, I heard on this one Facebook group one time. No, you can't have that thing. No, it has to be just a regular mop. Like, okay. Oh, and you're not changing the water enough. So you bitch at me like the whole time I'm mopping. And then I finish. And like if I use too much soap, then there's like a white streak on it. And I can see it. And you can see it. And I know that you're judging it. And I know I'm judging it. And then the kids are like, they come in and then it's dirty again. And so I hate mopping. I hate it. It's a never-ending task. And every time I come in and it's not done, I feel like I'm failing. So it's just, I hate it. I hate mopping. Yeah. Can we, instead of getting a hot tub sponsor, can we have Bissell? I want the Power Mop from Bissell. If we're doing that, that'd be good.
Listen, our 5
Sponsors.
listeners, if you know anyone.
I thought we were going to get Nilla Wafers to come on board, but then you trashed them.
No, Nilla Wafers is not coming for us, I don't think.
Listen, division of labor wise, like, we just got to do what we need to get done. And I think the struggle that you and I have with communication, especially with getting things done, what the biggest friction is when I would say to you, and just give me a second, let me finish it. You don't have to react because I'm saying you're going to react big. But like, if I were to say, what was I saying? If I were to say to you, like, Keelin, if we, like, just tell me what you want done. Like, just tell me. And you're like, oh my God, look around, Chad. Pick something. Why do I have to tell you? I'm like, because I'm not the one that's stressed about every single task in the house. And if I don't know which one is most important to you, then I'm going to be working on the wrong thing. Right. And then you're like, well, I shouldn't have to tell you what's the right thing. Like, no, you actually do. And like, if you could just tell me, I'll go do the thing. So that's probably where we get in, like, into it the most, right? Like, I would think that's probably a pretty stressful part. Like, you don't want me to have to ask. And I think that if we were to be in therapy land for a second, if we were both to center ourselves the way that we would in our therapy sessions, I think you would acknowledge that when your partner asks you to just share what you need, that's a good, healthy communication and not something that needs to make us angry.
Yes, and I should not have the expectation that you should know, even after 15 years, after 20 years, right? Like, I shouldn't necessarily expect that you can read my mind and know in this moment, this is not only that I want you to jump in, although I do wish sometimes there was a little more jumping in, but that, like, you should also know the order of operations that I want you to follow, because I can try to say that I'm like cool and relaxed and don't always have an order of operations in my head, but I do.
Yeah, you do.
There is always an order of operations.
Have you ever thought about making a list somewhere that we could all see so that, like, again, not that it has to be your list. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said you make a list. That's really rude. What if we made a list? What if we made a list together of all the things? And then, like, that way where I'm like, oh, I'm really feeling relaxed right now and I'd like to sit down. Oh, there's a bunch of shit on the list. And then I'll just start doing the things on the list instead of doing those things.
Yeah.
But if they're not written down, and then I'm like, well, I'm just going to take a few minutes, and then I sit down, and you come down, and you're like, oh, of course, 100 things to do, and he's taking a break. I'm like, you were just laying on the bed upstairs where no one could see you, so don't come at me. But I think we do a pretty good job, and I think the communication is the important part. We didn't mention garage maintenance, right? Like, you do very little in the garage. I really shouldn't take credit for the garage right now. It's absolutely disgusting, but Minnesota winters are hard and salt builds up and
my car,
there's garbage and stuff everywhere. Yeah, your car still fits.
I mean, please, we're still parking in the garage. Your truck can, but that's just because it doesn't fit, not because.
And I haven't been hitting as many golf balls in the garage this year, so your car has been in there even more.
Right.
Moxie is grumbling at me. The dog is grumbling at me. I think that means we're getting close to being done.
Okay. I think we should make a list, though. I like that idea.
You know, now that I think about it, though, I don't need to help as much. Like, here's what makes me mad. Can I tell you what makes me mad? I'll let you end with this.
No, you go. This can be our parting thought. I know what you're going to say.
Here's my hot take. Keelin. My hot take is there are some wives out there taking care of all of it.
Yes, go on.
And I love our relationship and the equal opportunity partnership that we have. But boy, would it be nice
to just not have to know or think about.
I mean, anything. if I took all of it, wouldn't that be nice for you? But
I'm sorry.
I'm kidding, mostly. I mean, like, there's a little bit of truth. Like, it would be nice, but that is not your job just because you're a woman, and that is not the way that I see you. But it would be nice. All right.
Your birthday's
You
coming up. Maybe for your birthday.
maybe for my birthday, what?
Maybe for your birthday, I'll like do everything for a day. Just what day though? Sounds.
Will you get me a plate of food?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I won't make you a plate though. Mm-mm. I'm not making you a plate.
It's rude.
No.
It's rude. We watched the Hell's Angels documentary last night, and I think we should start living by some of those rules for their wives, where you have to make me a plate and you walk a step
behind.
You walk a step behind.
All right. Okay.
All right.
We're done. Snack time.
Yeah. Want a Nilla wafer?
Cake.
Bye.
Bye.
See you in the kitchen.
See you in the kitchen.
Bye.